XRP, you have to understand this. There's really two things that are going to move the price in a big way. And when you look at cryptocurrency, there's really nothing else like this. There's no other project out there that has both of these things world class. XRP has it in spades. We're going to take a look at that. There's some really encouraging on-chain data, but at the same time, there's some statistics out there we have to keep in mind. I'm going to bring you the bullish, the bearish, the whole picture because, well, that's what it is, right? That is the full picture of the market. Let's take a look at this. We see what to expect for Ripple's XRP if a retail run was to happen. Now, the whole point of this article is the fact that, there's really two things driving growth. With XRP, you have retail as they get FOMO, as they get excited, as they buy XRP as an investment, but also you have the utility vector. Now, what I'll tell you is it's not so simple as just retail and utility. You're going to have investors from both retail and institutional investors. And I think you're going to have a lot of growth there for the institutional side. For this reason, as you try to have a diversified portfolio, XRP, it started to decouple. Now, if the overall crypto market is in a bear market that's going down, nothing's going to break away from that. But you'll notice XRP itself has outperformed a lot of its contemporaries. It has kind of run its own path. You've had drivers like the SEC lawsuit coming to an end, new utility coming out, new functionality. Like XRP has not performed on par with the rest of the crypto space. It has outperformed. And so as you're trying to build out a basket of, major cryptocurrencies, you want XRP in there because when a lot of the other crypto market is in the doldrums, XRP is ripping up to new all-time highs. You want this asset, right? And further, you have, again, great utility. And that's what this article brings up, the fact that, as people get FOMO, as people want to invest in this asset, that's going to push the price up. They put some different ranges up here I'm not going to talk about. But, the utility is the more sustainable value as people are building RWA systems on top of this technology, new stock markets, new derivative markets, things like that, cross-border payments, of course, you have that. And that's going to be sustainable and long-term and really push growth like nothing we've seen in this space before. And you have that, but don't discount the fact that very significant investors, whether individuals or institutions, they're going to invest into XRP ETFs and XRP directly because, again, it does give you a diversification into this space where it's not one-to-one pegged with the other things here. It's running on its own chart. It does outperform. It does kind of run along its own path. And I think a lot of investors are going to want that as we move forward. Now we look at this next article here. XRP payments spiked 200%. Understand this on-chain data is usually bullish as we start to see this build here. There's been a sudden increase in activity on the XRP ledger, with transaction volume rapidly increasing by 200%. So this is no small amount here. The abrupt spike indicates a sharp rise in network usage. Again, usually front runs a price increase. People are using the network for, real world activity. That's bullish. That's going to build value. And it goes on to say these types of spikes, they don't always indicate a direct and instant price increase, but they frequently indicate a change in the underlying dynamics of the market, and it merits notice, and likely a run is coming. And that's what we see here. Starting to pick up the pace here. People are using the ledger for a practical purpose, and that shows value, and we should capture some of that value as we continue forward. Now, again, I said there's the good, there's the bad. We see this article, XRP's ETF inflows, they collapse 93% as price capitulates. Will this cause a reset, a repair phase? The token is approaching a critical point after a sharp rise and realized losses. So there's a lot of investors out there, maybe not me, maybe not you, but people that haven't been around for a long time, and they're starting to go into the negative, and they're just selling off. They're getting away from this thing. They're capitulating. The weak hands, they crumble. They're not diamond hands like us. They haven't been around for a long time, still sitting on, even in these price levels, significant gains. Like they're in the negative. They've had enough. They're out. Wash them out, and then we can get on to new growth. Typically, this is an indicator of the bottom. Weekly realized profit and loss data shows XRP has posted its largest realized loss spike since November 2022. The big washout that happened there. So we go down, this could be it, and then it's on to growth. That's what we're looking for. And on-chain data, again, as we saw from this, we're seeing transaction spike. This would indicate that maybe we're hitting a bottom here. Cryptocurrency researcher. This guy always goes after us. Justin Bonds. He has slammed Ripple-linked XRP Ledger cryptocurrency and several other major networks, arguing that these are centralized blockchain. Who did he go after? XRPL, Stellar, Hedera, Canton, Algorand, among other blockchains that he singled out here. And, he can't tell you why foundationally XRP is so bad, and he really likes Solana, why that's so good. There is no such thing as perfect decentralization, but I can tell you this, not Justin, not you, not me. No one out there is worried that a transaction on the XRP ledger is not going to settle in an autonomous manner, that it will not happen, with someone stepping in and using centralized control. Everyone knows that this blockchain is decentralized, that transactions settle autonomously, over the blockchain. And so, it's kind of nonsense at the end of the day. He also knows no one's going to steal your coins. Like, these are the functionalities we really care about. And, to say the XRP ledger is centralized and Solana is so decentralized is nonsense. Now, we do know that Ripple has a lot of the token supply. There's some risks with that. You have to take a look at that. But over the long term, they've been good stewards of the supply. And so, again, this is just someone that's pitching old narratives, old talking points, and it's a bunch of nonsense. We need to move by that. Mark Zuckerberg, remember, he was one of the first to jump in here and say, yes, stablecoins are going to be really big. And, my problem with Facebook is they rarely actually execute on the vision. They go into all the right places. They're one of the first, always the first movers, but they never execute. They ditched that project. Aptos, some of that team went on to build Aptos. The other half went on to build Sui, having a lot of success. They had a great team there, but then we're going to pivot back now that we have regulations. It's legal and they know they can get in here. We'll see what Facebook does. Again, a massive platform. In my mind, though, it's a dying platform. And this is a company that cannot execute, and I don't think they're going to make much headway here, but we'll see. Again, he's always in the right areas of technology, but he can never really bring anything to market and execute. He can buy stuff like Instagram, but can he launch a stablecoin platform and actually get traction? My mind says no. We see another XRP ledger amendment is coming. XRP developers have proposed a new amendment that would introduce batch transactions. So this is all about making the ledger more efficient for developers. The great vet, XRPL UNL validator has revealed the amendment was still under voting by validators. The amendment will make it easier for developers to build applications that can generate revenue directly on chain. It will also simplify the process of offering paid features and help automate transaction flow. Notably, VET stated the highly anticipated amendment would enable developers to execute multiple transactions, and that's what's so important, be able to batch them more efficiently, lower costs. This is great. He explains this capability would help support monetization, trustless swaps, and enable businesses to issue service charges in a more sustainable manner. So this is great for developers, of course, which we need to support those great developers. I know it sounded like I was anti-developer in that whole, some on wallet issue. No, not at all. We need people building the future on this blockchain. I'm supportive of them, and I know they'll get it done. I know between Salman, really the greatest builder this space has ever seen, and all the other third-party developers, they're going to get it done from a business-like standpoint in this kind of thing here. We've come so far in terms of capability of the XRP blockchain. It looks nothing like it did even 12 months ago, and it's going to continue ripping through new amendments, new advancements, and that is great to see here. SBI jumping in here, working on some cross-border stuff with a South Korean partner. This is exciting. Again, this is just kind of exploring this idea of using blockchain as a cross-border payment mechanism. We want other people than just Ripple doing this, whether it's SBI, whether it's Robinhood with the derivatives platform. We want other behemoths having success on the XRP ledger, and that's what we see happening here. Lastly, Ripple stablecoin. I said it it was so important at the very beginning of this, that Ripple has success, that they scale and actually get adoption, not that they're just taking their own money and rolling it into the coin, that people are actually using it. And so far, they are doing really good. World class here. Their stablecoin RLUSD has recorded a spike in volume within the last 24 hours. It's maintained its $1 peg. We're seeing some issues out there with the president's stablecoin that he has with WLFI, but not RLUSD. It's just strong on that $1 peg. It's the standard. It is the industry standard for a safe stablecoin product here. The surge in Ripple's USD stablecoin indicates that there are various strategic partners between Ripple, institutional investors, and I was so glad to see they had this partnership with Binance to get the coin listed. And more importantly, not just RLUSD, but not RLUSD Ethereum, but XRP Ledger variant. That's important. We have to have on and off ramps. People are going to use a stable coin if it's fast, it's efficient, if it's a world-class product, and that's what they're building here. The growth is driven by utility, of course. The stablecoin has gained traction in the crypto market lately. Within the last 14 days, the largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance, added the stablecoin to its trading platform here. Commenting on the development, Ripple Prime Mike Higgins explained it's a signal of maturation of the market. And again, this is going to be a great product. You can use it on multiple chains. When used on the XRP ledger, it's fast, it's cheap, it's efficient. We need on and off ramps. And they got that with Binance and all their other listings, and it's going to continue. This is a great moment for the XRP ledger. You let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.